I don't believe that importing expatriate talent into the region, maybe initially, but in the long term, is the way to go. What you have to do is to develop local, developing local talent and developing local resources is critically important. The initiatives that you, for example, you see in Saudi around marketing and marketing training are to be welcomed. Things will get better and better, and I'm very bullish on 21 because of the macro, the bounce back in GDP, the macro tailwinds, Tokyo 21, Euro 21. I mean, there's a huge underlying improvement coming in 21, and I think into 22. The forecast for GDP growth for next year about between 5 and 6, and the year after sort of 4 to 5. So we're going to have a couple of years of really good growth. The question is what happens to inflation and interest rates after that. There's always been fake news. Go to Germany in the 1930s. There's always been the influence of proprietors on newspapers or on television channels or on magazines. So it was ever thus. The problem is that the nature of the technology has become so sophisticated and so all-embracing. My view on tech is the advantages of tech outweigh the disadvantages. So connecting the billions of people on the planet, people who weren't connected before, who can talk to one another at zero cost, marginal cost, that's huge. From a sort of geopolitical point of view, the thing that worries me, I guess, most is, and you see, elements of this or the impact of this on the Middle East, is the growing gap between the US and China and the friction between the US and China, which I don't think under a Biden administration is going to change significantly. I think the approach will change, and dealing with the Chinese government, instead of it being sort of volatile and unilateral, I think it'll become more predictable and multilateral. So I assume the Biden administration will reach out, as it has done already, to secure multilateral support for dealing with China. On COVID, we are making progress. The vaccine announcements are hugely positive. Obviously, there are implementation difficulties and the like, but we'll get through that, I'm sure. And I think by the spring of next year, the picture will look very different and very much better. Climate change, we will get, with the Biden administration, I think, a more constructive attitude from America in relation to climate change. The US-Chinese relationships, I think, are going to continue to be difficult. So I doubt whether we'll see much progress on that third point, but on the first two, probably we'll see a lot of significant progress.